colleague Moloko Moloto, who I understand is with the KZN chair currently. Moloko, it's over to you.
Well, thank you, Mfundo Mabalane. Indeed, we are now joined by the chairperson of the ANC in the province of KwaZulu-Natal, Mr. Siboniso Duma. Sir, thank you so much for making time. Overnight, I understand that the lobbying continued, meeting with delegates from other parts of the country. KZN's position, how confident are you that going into this national conference, your preferred candidate, Dr. Zweli Mkhize, will emerge?
Thank you so much, Baba Oluk, your good self and your viewers at home. But what is critical for us is winning the conference in terms of economic outlook. Our mind is more fixated towards that direction. The issue of implementation of the resolution to the T, expropriation of land without compensation, must happen and happen now. The issue of the creation of state bank is something that must be achieved. The issue of ensuring that ESCOM is transformed clinical and our people must benefit. Comrade Zweli, I think, could lead that collective. I think the numbers are there and we are not arrogant because the issue of arrogance has come to an end. The leader of the society has not done a great job in doing some of the things. Look at the issue of registration. I think it was not correct. We should have done the issue of pre-registration in provinces like we usually do, the issue of headquarters. This time it was not done. And some of the manifestation that you saw that transpired is as a result of that because comrade might lose patience. So I think we want to win the issue from political power, transition to economic power strong, and our people must own the means of production.
Well, I guess the chaos around the accreditation of delegates perhaps has to do with the fact that you really don't have political office bearers in that secretariat office. But let's talk about the resolutions that you were just outlining that you say you want implemented. Listening to you, these are resolutions of the 54th National Conference. Why do you think this NEC failed to implement majority of them?
I think the reality is the type of a caliber of a leader that you elect in the conference and the collective. I think this was one of the weakest NEC for different reasons. It's true that, unfortunately, Comrade Jesse Duarte is no more. May his soul rest in peace. It was painful. And the suspension of this SGO, it meant that you didn't have the day-to-day activism. You didn't have the core that must outline and must remind the deployees, because the deployees are deployed at the National Assembly, at the executive, and they must make sure that they play a proper oversight, implement the resolution. So it was somewhat depleted, and we want to make sure that let us elect a strong leader collectively, because our mind is there that why don't you identify those who are radical enough, those who are not scared of a system, those who does not matter the issue of establishment. Currently, the private sector is bullying us in terms of taking people for right and all those things. So that must come to an end, that issue of dominance. We must dominate on the means of production, and this is the only vehicle that is going to assist us. We are here to renew the mandate, and these delegates must achieve that. We must not cause chaos. Chaos is not the prophet. Let us condemn it so that we achieve what we are here for.
Talking of condemning chaos, there were scenes that played themselves out yesterday, publicly, South Africans witnessing delegates of the ANC heckling their very own president. Might be outgoing, but the picture out there is that delegates from KwaZulu-Natal are intolerant. I saw you at some point, you going to speak to some of your delegates. I would like to hear what you were telling them, but the scenes as they were playing out as the leader of the province, were you embarrassed?
We were embarrassed. I think the issue of the ANC, the culture and the practice, you must always respect the leadership that is elected. You must always rally behind the vision of the ANC. If there's international media, if there's media, you cannot just misbehave. Even in the absence of media, a good membership of the ANC ought to know that he or she is the leader as well. So the issue of camaraderie spirit must always be there, that even if it means that antagonistic or ideological, there are differences, but the issue issue of perseverance, the issue of peaceful understanding, the issue of embracing each other is key for the ANC, and we are built for that. When we join this movement, we join it voluntarily, not for any gains. So let us equip each other, let us be patient with each other, and let us not be inward looking, so that we are able to lead the entire society. We can't lead the society being divided. We can't lead the society be depleted. So let us enjoy the process of understanding the culture and the practice of the ANC.
Yeah, I want to ask you about this question. It might be just a matter of perception, of course, but it's there. And you know far much better than I do that perception matters in politics, the optics. You as KwaZulu-Natal coming into this conference, you supporting Dr. Zweli Mkhize. He is from KwaZulu-Natal. In 2017, the province of KZN supported Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma. And from 2007, at least I was a reporter then, the KZN was clear it wanted JZ. It would appear as if, at least lately, going to as far as 2007, KZN all the time prefers a candidate from KZN. And some people are saying, why does it appear as if only KZN can or have or produce people who can lead at the president position? Is that perception misguided?
But you are not saying that during President Luthuli, President OR was a deputy president. He then took over when President Luthuli was no more. After OR, President Madiba was the deputy president. He then took over. During Thabo Mbeki's era, Comrade President Zuma was the deputy president. So that where there has been a practice in the ANC that the comrade who's the deputy president as well at the ANC level must play a role. At the issue of 2007 was the reality. It is not the KwaZulu-Natal that identify Comrade Nkosazana. It is the collectivism that realized that there is a need for a woman leader, because the issue of too regionalistic in our mind is not there, does not exist. The ANC defeated the issue of ethnic mobilization, the issue of tribalism. We are a non-racial organization. So from time to time, we'll identify the strong leader. If the strong leader comes from Gauteng, identify Gauteng. If the strong leader comes from Northern Cape, like for instance, you might find that someone who's talking more in this conference has the smallest margin in terms of the branches. But we are not saying that Comrade Zaman, step aside, don't talk, because the reality is the leader, and he's someone who must also advance, because the ANC is a unitary organization. So I wouldn't want you to think that KwaZulu-Natal is always selfishly driving there. People who've been supporting, we are the one that were championing the campaign of Comrade Thabo Mbeki when he was going to be elected, so on and so on. So I think that's where we are ideological.
Mr. Siboniso Duma, thank you so much for your time, sir. We appreciate. He is the chairperson of the African National Congress in KwaZulu-Natal, the province that is bringing the largest number of delegates to this conference.